The anime story begins with our protagonist being humiliated on the verge of death by those around him. This is due to how weak his magic is and the fact that he's a commoner. In this world, there are 3 important factors for being a mage: lineage, talent, and diligence. These are the words of the great father of sorcery, William Bordox. Knowing our main character has none of these traits, the guy in front of him pities him and allows him to show his power, but as you thought, it was only a puny spell that came out. Before putting him out of his misery, he tells him no amount of hard work or diligence makes up for the lack of talent or breeding. With that, our main character is reincarnated, but not before remarking how beautiful that guy's magic is. Immediately after opening his eyes, he finds himself surrounded by mages. Concerned if they're giants or not, he decides to launch a fireball that destroys part of the castle. This terrifies the mages, and with this you find out that he's the 7th prince of the Solemn Kingdom's Prince Lloyd. A few years later, Lloyd is shown hiding from his mates, relieved that they didn't find him. He runs into others of royal lineage, asking them to not tell his mates that they saw him. The guy begins to yap and Lloyd makes a quick escape. One of the guys knows that with him being the 7th prince, he has no chance at the crown, so there's no point of earning his favor. But one of the counts seemed to believe with how smart he is and his magical power from when he was born, he might just be the great William Bordox reborn. After the other guy says no way, then we shift to Lloyd entering the library, and you find out the reason why he was hiding. He ends up being found by his head maid Silpha, who trains him every day. Noting that even if he has no shot at the throne, being the 7th prince, every royalty needs to be familiar with handling a sword. Knowing that if he doesn't put on the chauffeur, he'll be stuck practicing until evening they start their duel. Impressed by Lloyd's skills, Silpha says he's been growing a lot every day. Lloyd notes that she's always holding back in her fights against him and that he's secretly been tracing her moves with control magic, essentially making her fight a mirror image of herself, in other words, cheating. There are multiple problems with this strategy though. The difference in their arm strength, stamina, height, and reach makes it impossible for him to completely mirror her. To make up for this, he lengthens his sword, enhances his strength, and casts levitation. This all makes up for the differences between them and lets them fight on equal terms. He removes the trace to try to hit a sneak attack on her by catching her off guard, but it fails. With this, she finds out that he's been cheating and easily folds him, pointing out all the cheats he used. Instead of being mad, she was amazed by the fact that he could use more than one spell at once. And even noting that court mages find that difficult, telling him there's no need to rush, she's not going to run away. We fast forward to a bath scene where Lloyd is forced to bath with all his mates. For some reason, he seems mad, but in this scene, it holds a lot of plot. Sophia knows that if she takes her eyes off of Lloyd, he'd probably go bury himself in a bunch of books. The mates tell him if he doesn't listen, the Forbidden Library's demon will gobble him up, telling a story that a long time ago Solem was nearly destroyed, and only after sacrificing countless mages, the demon was sealed away in a book. Sending us in the Forbidden Library below the castle. Thinking that Lloyd was scared due to the story they told, they all offered him to sleep in their beds tonight. Lloyd quickly snuck away as they were arguing about who he would sleep with tonight, and they were so wrong. Instead of being scared, he was excited. At midnight, he easily snuck past the guards that were stationed there and broke the unbreakable barrier. Fascinated by all the books in their forbidden magic, a book with a demon inside flies into the air, saying that he's impressed by the fact he broke the barrier. Telling him that his name is Grim and asking him to undo the seal. Noting that if he doesn't undo it, it'll eventually undo itself anyways due to it weakening. To spice things up, he offered him as much gold as he wants to unseal him. But Lloyd, seeing through his ploy, rejected the offer, seeing that the gold was very low quality, and basically turned to dust. But when he offered to teach Lloyd ancient magic, he unsealed him without a second thought. Just a few seconds later, without warning, Grim fires a dark fireball trying to wipe Lloyd off the face of the earth. But it didn't even leave a scratch on his barrier. Asking for him to show him more, Grim launches multiple attacks, but none even come close to scratching his barrier. Being the weirdo he is, he purposely let the magic touch his finger and then made a weird face. Kinda weird. Not even Grim's most powerful attack, a double incantation, landed a scratch. Preparing to launch a strong attack, Lloyd casts a second barrier so he doesn't blow up the castle. Then fires a fireball, defeating Grim. But not before saying, "Show me some defense magic." He then repairs the castle and turns Grim into his familiar. Grim tries to deceive him, but then he finds out that Lloyd is a way bigger monster than him, so he goes for grooming instead. If you enjoyed this and want to see more like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know down below. And if you made it this far, comment plot and consider watching another because YouTube thinks you will enjoy the video on the screen.